So we're here in East Texas, my home area, and we're here to catch as many big bass as we can catch, if possible. You know, it's springtime here in East Texas, the best time, in my opinion, to be out on the water. Everything's warming, the grass is getting green, the trees are budding out, the birds are chirping, and, you know, love is in the air, if you will. So the bass are really getting on beds strong. There's already some done. We've had a really kind of crazy spring everybody's aware of. You know, we have some warm weather, and then we'll get this crazy cold snap. So we've pushed our chutes back, and I'm excited to get out today. I'm really wanting to showcase the Ocho. We just got back from Heavy Hitters in North Carolina with Major League Fishing, where we actually won a $100,000 big bass on the Ocho. So we really want to come out and showcase that bait, do a little show on it, and show you guys how universal it is and how effective it is. There's so many ways to use it. Probably one of my strongest confidence and go-to baits. Over the years of fishing, I've really narrowed down what it is that I like to do. And you hear me talk about confidence and things like that. And I have such confidence in the Ocho. It's a really sleek slimline bait. It doesn't do anything. It's really a subtle presentation. And the subtle presentation is what is the key to the bait. There's a fish. Old reliable. The best bait made is the Strike King Ocho. And the guy's got some sores on him. He's got a pretty side to him though. Little chunky dude. So we switched it up and we slowed way down to a bait that I have the most confidence in when things get tough, and that's the Strike King Ocho. One of my favorite colors in that Strike King Ocho is blue swirl. I think it has something to do with my mind wrapping around it. Looks like a bluegill because bluegill have that kind of that blue glimmer in them a lot of times. But obviously this does not look like a bluegill, but it's just a confidence bait for me. We won $100,000 on this exact bait at Major League Fishing Heavy Hitters in Raleigh, North Carolina this year. And it's just an absolute great bait. There's so many baits on the market nowadays that are stick style baits, but something about the Ocho and that 8 sides that are on it, it's different. It falls different, it looks different, it's heavy, it's got that denseness to it, and I really love it. It's probably one of my, if not the absolute go-to bait in my tackle box. When things get tough and I can't get a bite, I pick it up, and time again, tried and true, I catch them. Whenever I'm flipping or casting that bait, when it hits the water, it doesn't make a lot of noise. It doesn't move a lot of water. It doesn't have a lot of action and flappers and appendages that, you know, a lot of guys throw around. And I do believe that in the spring, especially when those fish get in that super shallow water, and sometimes they go through phases to where they're really aggressive, and then they go through the phase to where they're not aggressive, and that Ocho is the key bait. I feel like I can work through both of those stages and catch more fish than most anyone else on it. That's a big one. It felt like a big one. And that's why you throw an Ocho right there. That is why you throw an Ocho. Oh, Look at that booger. Look at the belly on that thing. Good night. Look at the belly on that thing. Got my weight all down in her gills. There she goes. Look right there. Look at the belly on that bass. That is an Ocho fish, super subtle presentation. I mean, good night. Look at that thing. She is so thick. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Getting up there, getting ready to get to it. Absolute hammer of a bass. You know, you catch those fish that are, I mean, look at that thing. I gotta pull that one more time. You catch the fish that usually have a big head on them, but this fish has a little bitty mouth and just a big old body, just thick through the back, across the tail, everything through here. It's like a northern strain down here in Texas. That's a beautiful, beautiful fish. Oh. It's so subtle and it's intrusive on them. But you just got to see exactly what kind of bass an Ocho will put in the boat for you. So you want to talk about exactly how good the Ocho is and how versatile it is. We were just 1,100 miles east of here on the East Coast in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I was catching bass on the Ocho. We come to my home state of Texas, in East Texas, on my home bodies of water. I use the exact same bait to film a show with, and you get to see the outcome of that. It is a no-nonsense bait, and I'm telling you guys, it is something that I truly, truly believe in, something that I have the utmost confidence in, and I use it all the time. It just doesn't matter. If you have an Ocho, you're gonna catch more bass. That sucker smashed it. Destroyed that Ocho when she hit the water. Look at that sucker too. We got into a little area here. Oh, look at that. Yes, sir. That, my friends, is an Ocho bass. Texas rigged bass fishing at its finest. That is I mean, I'm not sure if they got that, but when I fired that Ocho up there, that bass swirled around and rolled on it immediately. And I saw her, just a big old white side, so I knew she was a good one. Another absolute beautiful, beautiful fish. Goodness gracious. I'm telling you guys, the Ocho is the real deal. And it doesn't have to be always weightless. You can flip that thing around with a small weight on it, and you can absolutely put their lights out. So I'll show you what I've got here. That way you guys can understand. That's a 3/16 ounce tour grade tungsten weight with a stopper. This is a 5/0, just a worm hook. You can see I like just a regular old school Z-neck worm hook. Just because it's longer when I'm fishing an Ocho, you know, that I feel like sometimes that helps me get a better hookup. And then this is just a blue swirl Ocho that I am Texas rigging. I'm not Texposing or anything. I'm just burying that hook in there because I'm firing up there around that cover. And that's what happens. It puts bass in the boat. Let's see if we can get another one. That's exactly what I was talking about right there. When I say a subtle, quiet presentation, when you land. So that bait landed in the water, really subtle, and immediately I pick it up and it's swimming out. That fish had no idea that that bait was there. And whenever it landed in there and slid down, it's just something that they're not aware of, and it's just so subtle that they eat it. I absolutely love the Ocho. Talk about line size a little bit. You know, a lot of people, when I'm throwing an Ocho in clear water, I will downsize my line, 12, 15, even if I'm fishing for big ones in clear water. But as you can see today, we're fishing in a lot dirtier water here in East Texas. And so I'm gonna throw 20 every time, just because I know the quality of fish that you're gonna catch on this bait, and you're gonna be fishing around cover, laydowns, grass, and things like that. So you really want that heavier line. I'm a firm believer in heavier line, because you did all that work to get him hooked. You might as well get him in the boat. The only way to do that is not break your line. I've been lucky enough to be born and raised right here in East Texas, where we have truly, I feel like, the biggest bass in the country. There are a couple other places that you can go to catch big bass. You can go to the California Delta. You can go to a few of these other places to catch big fish, but I feel like within a 50-mile radius of East Texas, there are more big fish located right here than anywhere in the country. I'm truly blessed to be here, to be able to catch those fish over the years of my life, and hopefully many more to come. But we live in a truly special area here in East Texas to produce this many large bass. I missed that fish the first cast. Threw right back in there, and she ate it on the second flip. Right there. Oh, that old bass looks like it's been to war. He has been up there a minute. Look at that poor thing. Look at him. He's been caught before. Sure has. But it shows you, and I'm not saying it won't happen with other baits too, but I flipped in there with that Ocho the first time, and that fish didn't get it. And my bait was hanging halfway on my hook. I literally just fixed my bait, flipped it right back up there, and it was so subtle, he ate it again. Those are the types of bites in fun fishing and in tournament situations where I feel like that bass mattered. And if that bass is the one that you need for your fifth fish, or you know, it's a picture fish, then at the end of the day, it was the right bait to choose. That joker, oh, look at that thing. That guy was coming right at me. I did not even have a chance to really get a good hook in him, I didn't think, but I did. Look at that rascal. Absolutely. I mean, he got a sore on his side too. I guess they're from being up there, spawning. I'm telling you guys, the Ocho is a highly underestimated tool in your toolbox. You can catch big ones, little ones, all of them on an Ocho year round. One of my go-to baits, absolute favorites. Thank you, darling. Right out of that super, super shallow water. Right out of the super shallow water. That guy, I mean, when I pulled it, it was so shallow, I saw him wake over and grab it. Not a giant one, but I mean, just goes to show you how shallow these fish will really get. I mean, just another great solid fish. That little guy was out here on some structure. Oh, he's got a tattoo on his head. That's a cool looking bass right there. Look at that dude. He has got a tattoo on his head. Look at him, he's got a little black, half a black eye. These all fish, you could tell these fish have been up here spawning. They just all got sores and beat up on them a little bit from being up so long. But nonetheless, you can tell he's got a little blood on his tail there from being up on the bed. Little guy. But hey, that's what we're here for. All right. I am triple threaded now. Triple threaded. when I'm throwing this Ocho, I really like a couple different setups. And since I'm throwing it with a Texas rig today, I really like the 7.2 Signature Series by Mark Rose. It's a really good worm and jig rod. It's really parabolic. It's got a lot of backbone to it though. And when you're flipping with a weight and you're getting around these laydowns and grass and things like that, and you're gonna be catching bigger fish, I like that rod to help, you know, drive a hook into those fish and get them out. The Hyper Mag reel, 7.5-to-1, super high fast retrieve with a 20-pound fluorocarbon. 20-pound fluorocarbon, paramount when I'm flipping. Won't do it without it. I just know what happens. I break them off. That was a super cool bite. That was a super cool bite. Oh, little chub. I pulled that Ocho right over a laydown that I can see there, and as soon as it fell, my line jumps and immediately swims to the right. And I mean, that's just a really classic Ocho bite, aggressive, like, and when they eat it like that, you know, without a doubt, that's what they want. So yeah, what a, I mean, just what a lot of fun. That's just a springtime bass fishing, and that is a lot of fun. I love it. Oh. Oh my goodness, that fish was angry. Right here where I can deal with him. Looky there. Absolute. We haven't gone 15 yards since our last bite, and that guy absolutely crushed that Ocho. I mean, not giant bass, but 2.5, 2 3/4 pound bass, just really thick, healthy springtime bass. That's what we're here for. And I mean, I'll just show it to you up close and personal firsthand. Right there it is. Right there it is, the Ocho. I mean, one of the best baits to go to, hands down, whenever you want to go and catch bass. You know, I talked to you guys about the confidence in your bait and having confidence to fish it. When you have the confidence to fish the bait and stick with it, good things happen. When you're indecisive and you start picking things up and putting things down and nothing really feels right, that's when you struggle. So when you get confidence in a bait, like an Ocho, you can keep it in your hand and eventually you'll run into the right water and the fish will be there and they will absolutely devour it. So once I got these fish dialed in, the fish are kind of using these little drains, which is a low spot, to funnel in, and then they get out on the high spots to spawn. And they really wanted something against their back, like if there was a bunch of weeds out, the fish were not on the outside edge of those weeds. They really want to be up against the bank. And a lot of that has to do with the watercolor here. Now throughout the country, it'll clear up in other places and they'll spawn way off the bank. But here, they really like to be up shallow and then have their back against the bank or something hard. Once we dialed that in today, I was able to really pick it apart and catch a lot more fish. And those are subtle things that you have to look for when you're out fishing. And make a note of that. And once you note it, start kind of running that pattern and it'll ultimately help you put more fish in the boat. Right there. That's a better fish, guys. Boy, Heidi, where did she come from? Oh, big, and that's a good fish. That's a good one. Come here, sweetheart. Looky there. That's what you get, guys. That is an absolute solid 4-pound, just Texas toad. Golly, that's so much fun. I literally, we got around some. I didn't even pick my power poles up good and made a cast in this guy right here. Look how short and fat from the back of the dorsal tail to her tail. God, that's such a beautiful strain of bass. absolutely grow them here in East Texas. Oh, here we go. I might have given it to him a little hard, but as big a fish as we've been catching, you know, I actually think he was coming right at me when I set the hook on him too. Guys, I can't tell you how much fun it is to just get out here and have confidence in a bait like the Ocho and just catch bass. The springtime is probably one of the best times to throw an Ocho since it is so sleek and slim and just super quiet to get in there, and they absolutely just eat it. So just absolutely love that bait. Oh, now, something so crazy. That was the third attempt at that fish to catch it. That does not happen every day, and it doesn't happen most of the time with intrusive baits. And that's why I keep emphasizing on how subtle it is to have that Ocho. What a great, I mean, that's awesome. That's how you know you're doing the right thing with the right bait, when you get that many opportunities at a bass. Big one, I think. I'm pointing out another fish and I flip in a tree. What a fun day on the water right there, guys. Yes, sir. What a fun day right there. I mean, guys, we change colors, we change tactics, and I'm just here to tell you right now, the Ocho is the real deal for springtime bass fishing. Amazing way to catch not only a lot of fish, but good fish too. Quality fish that you can compete in a tournament, you can just go out and have fun with, and it's something that I believe in and something that I have confidence in. So, you know, the Ocho is just a staple in my tackle box, and I promise you, I keep more than my fair share of them hanging around. I'm gonna let this girl go. Look at the belly on her. Good night. Just a great day on the water here in East Texas in the springtime. Ocho bass fishing.